Merry Christmas Eve, everybody! I hope you're having a happy holiday with your families and friends. Now, I got a lot of questions from all of you, so I'm not gonna waste any time. Adam Marley asks, what do you think is the theme for Sonic? That's a bit of a tough question. A lot of the themes in most Sonic games are tailor-made for that specific game, but they all have something to do with Sonic's character. But if I had to pick one, I guess I'm here? I don't know. What's your favorite movie that came out this year? A while ago, I would have said the Super Mario Bros. Movie, but I just saw Godzilla -1. That shit was fire. What is your dream Silver the Hedgehog game? That's a bit too complicated to answer in this one video. I might make an entire video in the future someday talking about what I would do for a Silver game. Aiden with a 3 asks, what character would you like to see in Smash Bros. The most? Dr. Eggman. Ajax10C asks, what is the absolute worst boss in any video game? Imperator X. In fact, calling him a boss is doing a disservice to boss fights. What Eggman boss is the coolest design? Probably Sonic Force's Death Egg Robot. Like, say what you will about how you feel about it, the design is awesome. Both forms, actually. Alex Leland asks, would you consider making videos on the Xenoblade series? Maybe someday. I have the first game on my shelf, but I've barely played any of it. Those games are long, man. I'm probably not going to be able to do that for a very long time. Are there any series not represented in Smash that you'd like to see in the next game? Oh yeah, totally. No More Heroes, Devil May Cry, Crash Bandicoot. I could go on and on. Alex Perrin asks, which Sonic animated series do you prefer? Adventures of Sonic the Hedgehog, Sat AM, Underground, X, Boom, or Prime? Honestly, even though I've only seen the first season, Sonic Prime. Because Adventures of Sonic the Hedgehog, Underground, and debatably Boom are all kids shows. Sat AM I barely remember, and X, while fun, has too many problems. It also has Chris Thorndike, and no matter how many people talk about it, I still hate this kid. An Observer asks, other than Mephiles, who is your favorite Sonic villain? Dr. Eggman is literally number 2 on the villain ranking. Anthony Cuevas Production asks, have you played Night in the Woods? No. Have you played Deltarune Chapter 1 and 2? Yes. Pretty good, but I still prefer Undertale. Do you like Minecraft? No. Axel T asks, what's your favorite and least favorite death battle? I'm not really sure I have one, but I can tell you one of my favorites and probably my least favorite. One of my favorites is Silver vs. Trunks, not just because Silver won, the fight was actually cool and the analysis was interesting. And my least favorite is Justin Bieber vs. Rebecca Black. Not only is that animated like a toddler, but it's just cyberbullying, honestly. What's your favorite superhero film? Probably Spider-Man No Way Home. What's your favorite song of all time? Hopes and Dreams Save the World from Undertale. I know that's 2 songs, but they complete each other. Burbus asks, is there any franchise that you want/wanted to get into but couldn't for external reasons? I'm not really the kind of person to let behind-the-scenes stuff affect my view on a specific game. Unless it's Activision Blizzard, where it's just basically an entire cesspit of terrible people, I usually put that in the back of my mind and let myself enjoy a game for what it is. Unless said external reasons are baked into the product, in which case, yeah. GeoBlade Lyrics asks, did you ever have any interest in learning any other language besides English? I actually took a Spanish class in like one of my high school grades. I barely remember any of it. Did you ever try to give a chance to any games you thought were meh? Oh, too many to count. Some of them turned out to be better, and some of them turned out to be worse. Chad Peterson asks, with Mephiles getting an action figure in the new Sonic toy line, which video game villains do you hope get an action figure next? Honestly, I'd love to answer that, but any villains that I can think of probably already have a toy line of their own. Aside from Sonic, who do you think was done the most dirty in Smash? Probably Dark Samus, because if you play Metroid Prime 2 and 3, you would know that Dark Samus has plenty of other moves at her disposal, which were showcased in her assist trophy, but no, let's just make her black and blue Samus in the next game. What are your hopes for the live-action Legend of Zelda movie? Good casting, good story, faithfulness to the source material, and please don't cast Tom Holland as Link. That would be terrible casting. Chaos Sonic asks, do you think Keanu Reeves should voice Mephiles the Dark in Sonic Movie 4? It's a bit presumptuous of you to assume we're even getting a Sonic Movie 4, let alone Mephiles the Dark is gonna be in it. But also, I think Keanu is better voiced Shadow, not Mephiles. What is your opinion on Teen Titans Go? I've barely watched it. Do you think Colleen O'Shaughnessy should voice Yoshi in the Super Mario Bros. Movie too? Not really. I mean, she does a good Tails voice, but I'd have to see first if she could do a Yoshi. Charlie Rogic asks, which Sonic character do you hope gets a second chance or gets rewritten in the story? This will probably never happen, but Infinite. I know I've said I liked him in the past, but even I gotta admit that he deserves a second chance. Have you watched the Mario/Sonic Sprite animated series SMBZ, Battle of Sprites and Freedom Fighters? And if so, what are your thoughts? Haven't seen any of those. Which franchises do you hope get a crossover with Sonic the most that haven't been made yet? Either Mega Man or Crash Bandicoot. I know in the Archie comics Mega Man had a crossover with Sonic, but I don't count that. Besides, these two have so much in common with Sonic, it's surprising that they haven't crossed over yet. Chloe Hall asks, what is your favorite and least favorite Pokemon game? I don't play Pokemon. What's your opinion on the SpongeBob movies? I haven't seen the first SpongeBob movie since I was younger, and I've never watched the other two. Chuck the Speedster asks, what's your opinion on the Madagascar trilogy? The first one's good, the second one I've only seen once, but I think that one was good too, and the third one is my favorite, however an unpopular opinion that may be. If you were forced to play one of your absolute least favorite Sonic games, what would it be and why? Probably Sonic Boom Rise of Lyric, because at least then I can laugh at how bad it is. What is your favorite game besides Undertale? Sonic Colors. Cody Hall asks, do you consider Secret Rings of Black Knight to be part of the main series? Yeah, I'd say so. They may have started out as their own sub-series, but considering that was never finished, it doesn't feel right calling them spin-offs anymore. Would you prefer Unleashed or Heroes to get remastered? Personally, Heroes would be better off remastered because thanks to the FPS boost, Unleashed is better than ever. If you got to make the next Sonic game, what would it be about? I would love to make an official Sonic.exe game. In fact, I am definitely going to make a video about that next year. Mark your calendars. Crocodile Chris M asks, what video game do you think is the most underappreciated? I'm not so sure I can answer that. I got plenty of games that I think are underappreciated, but the most underappreciated? I'm not so sure. Do you think microtransactions are the worst things to be in video games? A few years ago, I probably would have said yes, but we currently live in the era of woke ideology, so no. Do you think online multiplayer games are filled with cheaters, and do you think the cheaters are ruining the fun of those games? I'm not really well versed in the subject, considering the only online multiplayer games that I've consistently played are Fall Guys and Among Us, but yeah, I guess, the cheaters. Dark H asks, will you do an era of Cuphead? Maybe someday. I do like Cuphead and probably could cover it if I had the time. Do you watch any of the Glitch Productions shows? And if so, which one is your favorite? I have watched a couple. I watched Murder Drones and The Amazing Digital Circus pilot. I kind of fell off of Murder Drones, so The Amazing Digital Circus is probably my favorite. What is the most toxic hate base you've ever come across? Speaking of The Amazing Digital Circus, the amount of schmuck people are throwing online towards it for no real reason is absolutely outstanding. I love watching it. Dark Raptor 2006 asks, I know this is gonna sound desperate, but I don't care anymore. Would it be okay if we did a collab together? I actually plan to make a post involving my rules for collabing with me, so if you can follow all those when they're posted, maybe. If you had to get rid of one popular video game franchise, what would it be? Gartana Ban Ban. That thing is an insult to indie horror, and I have no idea how it's popular to begin with. How long have you and DT known each other? Well, we met back in the Wonderful 101 video, so about 2 years actually. Destroyer Shy asks, what do you consider the best video you've made? Easily the Undertale video. I put so much blood and sweat into that video, and even though it didn't gain a whole lot of traction and even got copyright claimed at first, I'm proud of what I did. Is there any content creator you watched this year that you'd recommend? Well, if you're into achievement hunting and all that, I'd recommend The Son of Jazzy. I'm more of a casual observer of his channel, but he's funny, and he's also British. What's your New Year's resolution? I don't have one because I have literally never made one. Dogsman asks, ever played TF2? No. Which Devil May Cry game is your favorite? Devil May Cry 5. Do you intend on remaking the top 10 final boss themes video? Eventually, hopefully sometime next year, but no promises. And Mr. Turboman asks, not including Wonder, what is your favorite Mario game and why? Super Mario Odyssey, simply because it's just that fun. Do you think Sonic Dream Team would be more successful if it was on other consoles/devices? Probably, but I do understand why it's an Apple exclusive considering that Apple literally partnered with Sega to make it. If you could come up with a new Mario power-up, what would it be? I would personally like to see something like the bee power-up, only with a little more freedom in how you fly and actually using the stinger in combat. Ethan Kasem asks, what are your favorite areas / boss fights from Devil May Cry? I can't speak on areas since I haven't played a Devil May Cry game in ages, but I can speak for boss fights. Virgil from Devil May Cry 5. What is your favorite music track from those games? Probably Double Trigger. It's awesome. X-Threads asks, what is your least favorite franchise that you had experienced before? Guards and Abandonment. Similar to what I said in getting rid of a popular franchise, that thing is just awful. Fiction Boy asks, what's your opinion on the Wreck-It Ralph duology? What do you mean duology? They only made one Wreck-It Ralph movie and it's awesome. I would hate to see them make a sequel because then they would ruin absolutely everything that was special about the original movie. Are you going to make more best and worst levels / bosses videos for other franchises? Maybe, but maybe not. Those videos were tailor-made for the year of Sonic, but I guess it wouldn't hurt to do more of those style videos for other franchises. What PS4 / Xbox One / PC game do you want to see get ported to the Switch 2 should that console get announced next year? Kingdom Hearts, and I mean actual native ports that work. They already didn't have much of an excuse when they pulled the cloud versions last year, and they'll have even less of an excuse if the Switch 2 does get announced next year. FNAF 64 the second asks, have you played the Hello Puppets games? No. Would you rather 100% Pikmin 2 or Hey Pikmin? Well, considering I did both for the E-Raw series and said that Hey Pikmin was better than Pikmin 2 in my opinion, I think that's self-explanatory. Do you think the FNAF lore has gone downhill? Oh yeah. FNAF is currently stuck in this place where it seemingly wants to move on, yet simultaneously wants to stay attached to what's prior. Hell, if you thought Security Breach's lore was confusing, try Help Wanted 2. I went to binge-watch Darko's series, and there is almost nothing in that game. And what little there is just vague random shit for theorists to inevitably glue together into some kind of bullshit theory. I can't wait to see all the Gregbot and Mimic theories that come out of it. Furious Pie asks, what are your opinions on FNAF Ruin? It looks cool, but I haven't played it myself. I would like to, though. What are your opinions on the state of Sonic this year? I think he's had a pretty good year, all things considered. What's your biggest hope / wish for the next Sonic game? That they take the examples they set in Sonic Frontiers and actually build off of them to make an even better game. Garrett Murphy asks, what's your favorite Pixar movie? Probably Inside Out, because that one gets me the most emotional. Pun not intended. Or is it? No, it wasn't. Glenn Parker asks, who's your favorite original SMG4 character? Probably Melanie, because she's got a cute voice and she's kind of relatable with how often she sleeps. What is your favorite Watfi? Probably 2021. What's your favorite Watfi rap battle? Also probably 2021. Go Mifune asks, F-Zero or Mario Kart? Mario Kart, but only because I've barely played any F-Zero. In racing games that allow vehicular combat that isn't involved with items or weapons, what is your main strategy to win? Drive fast and hit like a truck. Godzilla Reader asks, ever heard of Poppy Playtime? If so, any thoughts? I haven't played it myself, but it looks really good. I would really love to play it. Have you created some original characters of your own? Not since I was a kid, and even then they were all cringe self-inserts. Any thoughts on Ruby? Not interested. Gregory asks, can you make Mario-related videos next year? Yeah, sure. In fact, I have a few planned. I'm a recurring fan, so what video would you recommend I watch this year? From me? Well, in terms of the A-Raw series, start with The Hat in Time, since that was the first one I made, and it was made earlier this year. But in terms of normal videos, just pick any. It doesn't matter. Are you gonna do E-Raws on old games or just new ones? Well, considering I did the entire Pikmin series, which has games that go back to the 2000s, yeah, I do old and new. Greninja the Mario Kart and Pokemon fan asks, have you played any Mario Kart games? Oh yeah, I played almost all of them. In fact, the only ones I haven't played are Double Dash and Tour. What are your favorite and least favorite Mario Kart items? My favorite would probably be the star item, and my least favorite would probably be the coin item. Are there any bosses or levels you feel get more hate than they deserve? Oh yeah, too many to count. We'd be here all day if I tried. Hemic822 asks, are you upset about the fact that Sonic Forces is a universally hated game? I was when it first released, but by now I've kind of grown numb to it all. How much do you like Sonic 06 compared to Sonic Forces? Well, in my Sonic game ranking, Sonic 06 was number 21, and Sonic Forces was number 12. Do the math. Honor D asks, what's your favorite versus Sonic.exe song that isn't from the main week? Surprisingly, Sunshine. That Can You Feel the Sunshine part just goes too hard. What game are you going to make an Everything Right and Wrong with video on next? Kingdom Hearts. And not just the first game, I'm going the entire series. I like corn dogs asks, what's your favorite show? Probably Phineas and Ferb. The earlier seasons of The Simpsons or the earlier seasons of Family Guy? Haven't watched either, so I can't say. What's your favorite Nickelodeon show? SpongeBob. Infinite Master 85 asks, what do you think of the idea of King Ollie versus Sage in Death Battle? Oh, what? Why is this a death battle? The only connection between these two is that it's Mario versus Sonic. And even then, that idea has kinda lost most of its luster, save for one remaining matchup in my opinion. Aside from that, there are no connections, and even then, these two are basically featless. Jackie asks, from what I understand, you really seem to like Kirby, Sonic, and Mario. So my question is, which is your favorite out of those three, and why? Well, my name's Tony Sonic, and I did an entire year of Sonic last year. Out of all the Sonic Frontiers Titan themes, which is your favorite, and why? I'm here revisited because it's just plain awesome. I've noticed you've used a lot of SNG4 clips, so assuming you watch a lot of his videos, which is your favorite and why? I don't have a favorite, I just think he's funny. Jamil Zayas asks, when you get your new computer, are you going to download Project 06? Maybe, it looks like a lot of fun. If possible, would you want to have a more customized avatar, or do you strongly prefer Movie Sonic? I do really like having Movie Sonic as my avatar, but I guess a more customized avatar would be fine if it had Movie Sonic as a base. Did you know that DMC has similarities to Sonic? DMC 2 is poorly made, DMC 4 is an unfinished mess, and the DMC reboot, okay, I see what you're doing. Though to be fair, DMC 4 is not an unfinished mess. An unfinished mess implies the game is bad, and DMC 4 is a really good game. JP3 asks, what's your favorite scary movie? I don't know, I guess A Quiet Place? That's a good one. Giuliano Cartagena asks, what does your Mii look like? It looks like this. Just a Guy asks, for 2D platformers, do you like them in retro or 3D style? It really depends on the kind of vibe you're going for. Something like Shovel Knight looks really good because of the vibe it's going for in the style of those old retro games. But something like Sonic Superstars, where it's trying to be more modern, can look great with those 3D graphics. What's your fast food hot take? I'm not sure if this is a hot take, but here goes nothing. Arby's sucks. Justin Almonte Bernabel asks, do you eat Pop-Tarts? And if you do, then what's your favorite flavor? I do eat Pop-Tarts, and my favorite flavor is chocolate. Which park do you prefer, Disneyland or Universal Studios? I've only been to Disneyland, so my gut says that, but I also hate Disney right now, so I'm just gonna say not applicable. If you could visit any country in this world, what would it be and why? I'd actually really like to visit Italy sometime in the future. On my dad's side, I have a lot of Italian family heritage, so it'd be nice to see where my heritage is from. I'm probably going to mispronounce this one, but K. Palmosusta asks, do you think Sonic will surpass Mario even in one way? Well, he already has. He kicked Mario's ass in a fight. Elf on TV asks, Nostalgia Critic or Angry Video Game Nerd? Haven't watched much of either, so I can't really say. What was your favorite collab video you did with me? As much as I hate to say it, probably the Secret Rings video. I don't know, that one just felt the most fun. How did you meet the other two Tonys? Believe it or not, they just kinda showed up one day out of the blue. They said they were in a time machine or something, but that's basically all they said. Lilith Moon Sister of Dark asks, what is your favorite video game / movie that came out this year? I've said my favorite movie, and my favorite video game would probably be Resident Evil 4. Since FNAF has been popping up a lot on your channel, what would you change about the FNAF movie to make it better and something you keep the same? I keep everything about Afton the same, but please remove the fourth scene. I know I've talked about this with a lot of people, but no one has changed my mind. That scene was unnecessary and completely ruined all the terror. Are we ever going to get a full video about you talking about SMG4? Maybe, but don't plan on it. Lucas the Great asks, if you could delete one of the first Sonic games on platforms, what would it be? Sonic Advance, because I don't really care for the trilogy. Lewis123, aka Luckbutter21 asks, have you ever tried starting a collection of some sort? Well, I have a game collection, and I'm starting a plushie collection, so there you go. If you could change one thing about a certain game, what would it be and why? That's a little too vague for me to answer, sorry. Malik Pierre Lewis asks, what's your favorite and least favorite Some Call Me Johnny video? I don't really have one of either, honestly. Do you like Undertale AUs? If so, which one is your favorite and least favorite? I'm not that into Undertale AUs, but I guess my favorite would be Story Shift and my least favorite is Glitch Tale. Master M asks, are you into SpongeBob and how much did you watch from the show? I'm a casual SpongeBob fan, but I think I've seen a decent chunk. Thoughts on every 3D Mario game you have played? Good, alright, amazing, slightly less amazing, alright, pretty great, and amazing. Thoughts on every animated movie you've seen this year? Great, good, pretty alright, and meh. Micah Hayward asks, favorite video you made this year? The Undertale video. On a scale of 10 to 20, how excited are you for the Sonic Movie 3? 25. What do you think of the Mario Kart 8 Deluxe Booster Course Pass DLC overall? It had a rocky start, but it ended up being a really great DLC. Monica X3 asks, scariest FNAF game? Probably FNAF 4. How do you feel about DDLC surpassing FNAF's horror? Well, the thing you gotta understand is that DDLC and FNAF go for two different types of horror. DDLC is more focused on psychological horror, while FNAF is more focused on supernatural horror. That said, I'm not very pleased with DDLC outdoing FNAF in terms of horror. Not because I don't like DDLC, hell I haven't even played it, but because I love FNAF and want to see it be the best it can be. Mr. Fredfire asks, since we know who's your favorite voice for Sonic, what about other characters? I kinda like the voices for the modern cast, aside from the new voices for Cream and Rouge and Dream Team. They were fine before. What do you think of memes, and what's your favorite meme? I like memes, but I don't have a favorite. If you got to work on a Sonic game, what would you want your contribution to be? Since I don't have much experience in game development, I would like to be a writer. I think I could write a good Sonic story. Niall Alikhan asks, what do you think is the most ear-grating video game song ever? The Garden of Ban Chase music. Hell, it's not even music, it's just random noise. Would you rather watch a movie that you find really boring or a movie that pisses you off a lot? Honestly, a really boring movie, because then I could just sleep through it. Do you think 2023 has been overall a good year for movies? I'd say it's more half and half. On the one hand, we've gotten a lot of bangers, but we've also gotten a lot of stinkers. Nosa and Colette Akimiona asks, opinions on the SMG4 series? It's pretty funny, though I haven't watched an episode in quite a while. What's one video game series that should return? Kid Icarus. What are your inspirations? When I first started, The Birdman and Omega Blackheart. And in a way, they still are with the new series, but I owe a lot to them. Ongoing the Gamer asks, do you think that Sonic Movie 3 will be the darkest one in the trilogy? I ask because 1, the third one is normally the darkest, and 2, the game they're adapting is Sonic Adventure 2, which has some dark moments in it. I'd expect so, but I don't expect it will be that dark. Paper Bros asks, when do you think Nintendo will release their next console? There are reports saying that it'll be next year, but I'm not holding my breath. What do you think is Sega's weakest console in terms of game library? Probably the Sega Saturn. I don't really remember a whole lot of games on that system. What's your favorite SMG4 joke/meme? I don't really have one. Piffle Neo asks, how do you personally feel about the downgrade that is Sonic Unleashed? Excuse you, downgrade? You're talking about my second favorite Sonic game there, mister. Rage at Games asks, what is your favorite neutral ending in Undertale? The flawed pacifist route because it's the sweetest. What is your favorite school subject? Lunch. Random Dave 7 asks, what's your favorite thing about trees? They give us oxygen, and they're green. Do you know how to play croquet? Yes, but it's been a while. Do you prefer Scratch or Grounder? Neither, they're annoying. RE98 asks, favorite movie? Sonic the Hedgehog 2, currently. Cats or dogs? Both. Got milk? Yes, sir. Ricardo Storm Surge Silva asks, if you had to choose one world from Eggman's Interstellar Amusement Park, which would you go to? Sweet Mountain, because duh. Which series besides Sonic, Zelda, and Mario do you think deserve a live-action movie or CGI movie? Honestly, way too many. In fact, the ones that already have gotten some deserve better than they got. If you had to choose one Titan from Sonic Frontiers to pilot, which one would you use? Probably the Wyvern, because I like flying. Samurai 2020 asks, where do you think the End would rank on your villains list? Probably between Chaos and Dark Gaia. They got a cool monologue, but they're more bestial when they actually become the villain. Have you watched any indie animation shows on YouTube? If not, I would really recommend shows like Meta Runner, Murder Drones, and Hell of a Boss. I actually have watched a couple. I have watched Murder Drones, but Meta Runner and Hell of a Boss just don't seem like my thing. What are your favorite heroes and villains of all time? Favorite hero is Silver and favorite villain is Flowey. Screamin' Sonic asks, have you watched Avatar The Last Airbender? If so, what are your thoughts on it? And if not, then what are you doing? Trying to manage my YouTube channel with my life. I'm sorry, I just haven't had the time to watch it. Are you a fan of the band Metallica? I've literally never heard of them. Do you still feel the same way you felt about SA2? Yes. Shahid Sibulim asks, what's your favorite game for each Sonic voice actor? For Ryan, it's Heroes, for Jason, it's Unleashed, and for Roger, it's Colors. /10 Gamer of Gamers asks, have you ever played a Fire Emblem game? Why yes, 4 in fact. Would you ever want to be part of a YouTube community or group? Absolutely I would. In fact, I already am thanks to SOK. I've also got loose connections to the SCC thanks to 2 of my friends, but I'm by no means a member, nor do I think they would really want me on there. What is your opinion on the way Marvel is treating Spider-Man in the comics? Haven't read any of the recent comics myself, but from what I've heard, he can just not catch a break anymore. Slasher47 asks, favorite FNAF game? FNAF Help Wanted. Favorite SMG4 arc? Probably the Revelations arc. You ever play Metal Gear Solid or Doom Eternal? Sadly, no, but I would like to. Shadow Roof the Illusion Oni Yokai, my goodness, that's a mouthful, asks, do you watch the Ben 10 series? And if so, what's your favorite alien? Haven't watched any Ben 10, sadly. Snakeman 12.0 asks, would you ever make a video discussing indie animation? Maybe, but I'm not sure what I would really say that others haven't. Have you watched or at least heard of Spooky Month? I've heard of the meme, but not the series. What is your opinion on the Mega Man X series? I played the first 2 to try to get into them, but failed to after the 3rd one. Some anime dweeb I am sure asks, would you be willing to do an E-Raw of Freedom Planet 2 if you ever play it? Maybe if I like it enough, but that probably won't be for a while. What is the spiciest thing you've ever ate? I genuinely don't know. What is something you regret eating the most? I also genuinely don't know. I guess mashed potatoes? Never liked those. Sonic Games asks, have you heard of the Sega-made Scratch games? And if so, what do you think of them? I genuinely don't know what you're talking about. Summer Sensation asks, what is your favorite video game song as I'm making this video? Hopes and dreams save the world. I know this is technically the same answer as what's my favorite song of all time, but it's technically different since it's video game song and not just song in general. Have you ever used Newgrounds? Not really. Have you ever played a game called Castle Crashers? No. Sword Cheesecake 203 asks, what kind of cookies do you like? Anything super chocolatey. What was your opinion on the recent Shadow the Hedgehog reveal for Sonic Movie 3? Looks pretty good. Hope the movie's good. TFFan102 asks, have you heard of the Azure Striker Gunvolt series? If so, what do you think of the series and which game is your favorite? I've definitely heard of those series, but I haven't played them myself. They look kind of fun though. That's Serena asks, will you answer this question? How will you answer this question? Why are you trying to answer this question? I will answer this question. I will answer it by speaking, and I am trying to answer it because you asked. The Dark Hot Topic 21 asks, do you know the Yakuza games from Ryu Ga Gotoku Studios? I definitely know of them, haven't played any, and I've considered playing them myself, but I'm not so sure. Toby asks, thoughts on Cosmo from Sonic X? She's cute, she's got a good relationship with Tails, but I don't find her anything special. Who should voice Shadow in Sonic Movie 3? Keanu Reeves. Should Mephiles and Infinite return to the Sonic series? If you can have a good reason, then sure. Mephiles is a bit more difficult to do, but I would like to see him again. Toxic Q asks, what is your opinion on the economic state of Animal Crossing? I've never played Animal Crossing, but Tom Nook, I guess. Would you rather fight Bowser every week or fight a Kirby final boss once every month? Bowser every week because that guy's a dumbass. What is your favorite year? Don't have one. User 1 Campbell asks, how do you personally feel about the perfect parry system from the Final Horizon? Not a bad idea, but it would have been better if the bosses were designed with it in mind. Don't appreciate the overcorrection in the patch notes though. Whose Starfall Island theme is your favorite? Tails'. Do you know the way? This is the way. Vinster asks, what ships do you like besides Sonic ships since you talked about them last year? Well, I really like Luigi and Daisy, there are some versions of Z-Link that I like, and I'm partial to Undyne and Alphys. What Mario characters do you think should be playable in more spin-offs? Honestly, they got most of the ones that I want covered. The only ones left are more obscure characters that I either wouldn't know about or wouldn't be excited for. Thoughts on Gravity Falls, The Owl House, and Scott Pilgrim Takes Off? Haven't watched any of those, though I've heard good things about the first 2, and some pretty bad things about the last one. Virtual asks, when you start making your own horror game, which game engine do you plan on using? Unreal Engine, baby! Will 5 Nights asks, what would be your 3 major predictions for Sonic Movie 3? Shadow's gonna have his character arc from SA2, Ancient Stone is gonna be the main villain, and Live and Learn is gonna play somewhere in the movie. What is the most interesting thing you find about the FNAF franchise? Honestly, the fact that William was able to survive for 30 years despite being spring-locked. Like, when you think about it, he didn't just die and his soul returned to his body. He held on long enough for his agony to revitalize him. That's pretty cool. What do you think of Mixus and the Mimic? Mixus is fine. I don't know why we needed another glitchy rabbit and he's a shameless Slender clone, but he's okay. The Mimic, though? This thing. I hate it so much, and I'm going to make a video next year telling you all just why. William Nee asks, would you rather have infrared vision or ultraviolet light vision? Honestly, infrared vision because harsh purples hurt my eyes. Which video game world would you say is the best and worst to live in, respectively? The best would probably be Animal Crossing because it's just a more peaceful R world, and the worst would probably be Hollow Knight because of the amount of shit that happens there. What are your thoughts on difficulty settings in video games? I don't think they're entirely necessary, but for some games, it's good to have them for people who are, let's just say, not so good at games. Yeho Natan Confi, I'm sorry if I butchered that, asks, you play Crash Bandicoot? Oh yeah, totally. And last but not least, YouTube Social HD2 asks, do you have a favorite Everything Right and Wrong with that you made? Currently, Bendy in the Dark Revival. I really liked making that one. What is your opinion on the Super Mario RPG remake for the Switch? I have yet to play it myself, but I'm hopefully gonna get it for Christmas. What is your least favorite course from the Mario Kart 8 Deluxe Booster Course Pass? Probably Toad Circuit because it looks ugly and is boring. And that's all the questions I have for today. Seems to be about the same amount as last time, which is good. By the time I'm done with this video, I should have enough time to get the Mario ranking done before 2024. If not, then expect it sometime in January. See you next time, everybody!